Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the stage, Kurt Braunohler.
Portland? You are too kind. God, Portland, I'm really happy to be here. This is exciting. I was walking around today. Your city is awesome. Is your main economy bucket drumming, or is that just everybody's hobby? Also, I love that Portland still has gutter punks with dogs. That's great. Because all that rope is not going to turn itself into leashes, you know? You got to have somebody to do that. I'm excited. This is fun. I felt a little weird earlier today, and I didn't know what it was exactly. And then I realized it was because I hadn't heard a fucking Mumford & Sons song in like 20 minutes. But I heard one today that cleared it right up. It felt a lot better. That's a dated reference. That's going to be dated when this comes out. Insert your other shitty band that you don't like that's on the radio all the time. For you now. When people are listening to this in 2045. No one's going to be listening to it then. If one person is listening to this in 2045, hello. From the past. What is your world like? Just start telling me. They're going to be so used to interactive shit that he's going to start talking right now. He's like, oh, I didn't know this was interactive. Okay. I recently got my hair cut, and I went in, and I was like, well, like, make me look like a Muppet who works at IBM. And after she was all done, she's like, I kind of went more lesbian Hitler Youth. And I was like, works for me. Works for me. Guys, last night, I'll tell you, I slept like a baby. I woke up every 2 hours screaming in the dark. And then I shit my pants, and I almost died for, like, no reason whatsoever. I shouldn't joke. I had SIDS as a kid. I recently saw on the ground a magazine entitled Tinkle Digest. I don't know what was inside of it because I didn't fucking touch it. But on the cover of Tinkle Digest was just a giant elephant with a tiny bird on its back and an old Asian man in a boat. So, your guess is as good as mine. What the fuck's inside there? But I took a photo of it, and I texted it to a friend who used to run a show called Tinkle in New York City. I thought he would like it, and I hadn't texted him in like 6 months. And I immediately get a response back from him that just says, "Who is this?" Understandable. I just sent Tinkle Digest by itself, no explanation. So I just wrote back, "Hey, it's Kurt. I saw this, thought you would think it was funny." He immediately responds, "You got the wrong number." Turns out I did. I had just texted Tinkle Digest to a stranger. Normally, this is where a text conversation ends. But I texted back, "You're a wrong number." And he immediately texts back, "Listen, pal," which is the best way to start a text. "Listen, pal, I don't know who you're trying to reach, but you got the wrong number. I do not know of anyone by the name of Kurt." Again, ample opportunity for this to end. But I texted back, "You probably know me by my street name." And he was like, "What's your street name?" And I was like, "Oh no! What is my street name?" And I got drunk later and I just wrote, Doctor Depends. And then I followed up with, like the adult diaper, but a doctor. And he never responded. Wouldn't it have been amazing? That was like our origin story for best friends. Fun to tell people at parties. Oh, man. I have recently become obsessed with assholes. Not buttholes, but assholes. And I had an asshole revelation the other day at a place where all asshole revelations occur, Dunkin' Donuts. I was purchasing a coffee. The coffee was $3.04. I gave the man $4. He said, do you have 4 cents? I was like, I got 2 cents. He said, that'll do. And then proceeded to give me 98 cents change. And I was like, you are a magical asshole. Like, this is a beautiful, beautiful moment for all of us. Because it actually took me out of my everyday routine and allowed me to see that all of life is a joke. And I think that's valuable because I think it can make the world a little bit of a better place. So guys, here's 3 fun things you can do tonight to make the world a better place. 1, next time you fart, just yell, nothing but net. It's confusing and fun to say. 2, next time you go into a cafe to read a book, right before you open your book, just look up and yell, y'all ready for this? And quietly open your book and just start reading. Number 3, you won't see the effects of this, but you'll know you did an awesome thing. Go to Facebook, find a stranger. Go like a year back in their photos and just like 1 photo. Keep them guessing for hours. Who is this? And why do they like this picture of me playing basketball? So I've been trying to live my life this way. And the other day, I was on an airplane. I was in a middle seat. There was a woman on either side of me. They knew each other, and they proceeded to have a conversation across my body for like an hour. And it was like driving me crazy. And I was like, wait, I don't need to get upset. I'll just pay attention. And so I made full eye contact with her while she was talking. And then I made full eye contact with her while she was talking. And after the 3rd time, they thought I was crazy. But they shut the fuck up. So, I'm obsessed with this idea. I realize that this is like my purpose as a comedian. It is my reason for existence, is that I want to insert stupidity or absurdity into strangers' lives because I think for a moment it can make the world a better place, okay? And so the ways I've been trying to do this are I've been going to Barnes & Noble and taking books off the shelf and signing them from the author and then putting them back on the shelf. Like for that Girl with the Dragon Tattoo book, I just wrote, hope you like my book. Sorry about all the rape. And put it right back. And then for a Clive Cussler book, I just wrote, Jive, Hustler. Clive Cussler. And then put it back. Another thing I've been doing is I've been going onto Wikipedia and altering pages of animals with fake facts I've made up about those animals. For instance, right now on the squirrel Wikipedia page, you can find these fake facts mixed in with real facts. A single everything bagel started the Great Squirrel Pigeon War of 1982. Gay squirrels are referred to as queerles by no one. A squirrel necklace is when you hide a nut in someone's butthole and then wait 3 months and try and find it. So another way that I've been trying to insert stupidity or absurdity into strangers' lives, I've been going to pharmacies, buying a bunch of greeting cards, taking them home, signing them with alternate endings, and then bringing them back and putting them back on the shelf. And I'd like to share a few with you now. This one is a card for a child. It is a picture of a dinosaur, and it just says, "You're 4." That's all it says. Just a declarative statement of fact. You're 4. Someone came up with this and then pitched it to another human who approved it. Just so you guys know. Dinosaur, you're 4! And someone else was like, print it, make it! Okay. So it says, you're 4, and then on the inside I just wrote, only 1 year until memories. Why do we do anything for children before age 5? This is it's a get well card. It's got a little bear, and he's sick, he's in bed. You know where bears go when they get sick, and it just says, love is the best medicine. And then I just wrote, that's why we're not taking you to the hospital. It's a card for Christian Scientist. This is a wedding card, a beautiful card. It has a little salt and pepper shaker, and you can see the salt and you can see the pepper. I'm really describing it for our audience at home. And at the top it just says, made for each other. On the inside I just wrote, this is how I subtly mentioned that your fiancé is black. Pretty sure you have to see that one to think it's funny. This one is the last one here. It is just a picture of a river, and it just says at the top, what is a sun? And on the inside I just wrote, seriously, I don't know, sorry I wasn't around. So, I realized that if my purpose as a comedian is to insert stupidity or absurdity into strangers' lives, now by doing all of these things, it's very esoteric, and I'm only affecting like 1 or 2 people. But what I'm doing now is I just started a Kickstarter. It's going to end, I think, in like 5 days. I'm trying to raise $4,000. I realize $4,000 is a lot of money. You could probably get yourself out of debt or like cure like a super easy to cure disease. But I'm asking you guys to donate to me $4,000 so we can skywrite in the sky, how do I land? And we've already raised the money. We've already raised the money. So that's definitely happening. But if I can get $10,000, I can get 5 planes. First off, 5 planes. 5 planes. 5 pilots, professional people. Who would be, this is what I want to do in the sky for 5 planes. Knock, knock. Who's there? Me. Me who? Clouds. You're a little cool on that one. Let's try this one. 5 planes in the sky. Hey, man. Hey. What are you doing? Skywriting. Oh, right, I forgot. Maybe how do I land's just better. Like, we'll just do it 5 times. I never thought about that. How do I land? 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 Like, he's really... Guys! For real, guys! I never thought about that until just now. That's a great idea. I think it's at $6,000, guys. I think if all of us do some money tonight, we can do it. Guys, can we all agree that if there's any justice in the world at all, when they pitched that show Californication, just one coked up dude walked into a TV executive's office, slapped him in the face, and just went, "The Sex Files," and gave him the finger and walked the fuck out? If it didn't happen that way, I'm mad. I recently was in a public bathroom, and in the public bathroom there was air freshener, and the air freshener was clean linen Glade. Really? Glade? This is what you're doing? This is how you're playing the game? The purpose of air freshener is to battle the smell of a public restroom. I don't know about you guys, but people bring their fucking A game to public bathrooms. Like, if it was a polite shit, you'd do it at home. Public bathrooms are for, oh no, this is happening! Without my consent! And Glade's answer to that situation, some fresh sheets. You know, like you do when you make your bathroom smell bad. You just hang up a duvet cover and a pillowcase. Or you know when you walk into a room where somebody shit the bed, you can't even tell. All you smell is the overwhelming scent of sheets. Hey, Glade. Get back to me when you make burnt match Glade. Because then I'll know we're playing a game I can get behind. I'm laughing because there's just one dude who's just slightly behind me, and I can hear everything he laughs at very specifically. And I love him. What's he look like? He's a good guy. I like that guy. Just know you are my litmus test. This sounds like noise, and then one guy. It's as if there's one dude here going, yeah. Oh, fuck. Mm-hmm. Whew. I recently realized something, and it is that, guys, don't ever race a dude who's driving a PT Cruiser. Because that guy has got nothing to lose. That guy's at the end of his rope. Don't even look at him. Let him go. Also, fuck you, Biscotti. Fuck you. Oh, do I want to fucking chew on rocks and nurse mouth wounds for weeks? No! No, I don't! But people who like biscotti are like, you gotta soak it in coffee first. Fuck your food! That requires me to give it a hot bath before it's edible. Fuck you, biscotti. All right, is anybody here from New Jersey? No shit. Out of 4 shows, it's the first show that not a single person... They're usually like termites. They're kind of everywhere. That's great. That's great. Are you clapping for termites or for New Jersey? For just whistles. Whistles! No New Jersey. Oh, you're clapping for... I'm from New Jersey. So there is New Jersey. So I was in New Jersey recently, and I went into a store and I found this magical object. This is called a chat pack. For those of you at home, it's a little plastic box, and on the plastic box it says, "Fun questions to spark conversations." This is a box of questions for human beings who no longer know how to speak to other human beings. And right on the cover it says, ideal for dinner parties, family gatherings, car trips, business meetings. And I love the guy who's like, business meetings? Excuse me, gentlemen. Before I put forth this proposal to purchase this Chinese company, I have but one question for you. If snow could fall in any flavor, what flavor would you choose? Business meeting begun. Best part about Chat Pack, though, is the first card in the pack. When you open the new box, brand new box, it's not even a question. It just says, your Chat Pack purchase helps employ adults with special needs. Yeah. No shit, Chat Pack. On the back, there is a website, www.thequestionguys.com. Did I go there? Yes, I did. Can you submit questions for future Chat Packs? Yes, you can. Did I fuck? Yes, I did. Here are the questions I submitted to Chat Pack. 1. If you could have $1 million a month for the rest of your life, but you need to kill a boy, which boy? Not whether or not you do it, just choose a boy. Now! 2. Do you think Mark Wahlberg is an alternate universe Matt Damon, but from a universe where everyone's born with fetal alcohol syndrome? 3. Why won't you shut up? Be specific. There is a woman who sounded like a goat just now. Like a goat who's getting murdered. That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Continue to make that noise. That is a Valentine's Day noise. Honestly, I'm so happy you guys are all here on Valentine's Day. That's so great. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's fucking awesome. Thank you. You really, all of you don't give a shit about who you're with. That's amazing. Or you're super lonely. I love that. Thank you so much. I travel a lot as a comedian, and I go to airports a lot, and I hate airports. Like, I honestly think that if there was like a real life superhero and he was out to like save humanity, if you brought him to an airport for like 20 minutes, he'd be like, you know what? Maybe not this time. Like, people just become such fucking assholes. Like, they just strip off humanity and they're just animals in airports. I saw one guy, 2 people who were just like, oh, the flight's 15 minutes delayed. They just went to sleep on the floor. Like, in the middle of the place. Just went to bed. Just like, I am no longer a human. I'm a dog. Go to bed. And even the moment you walk into an airport, it's awful and offensive. Like, do you guys remember train stations? Right? Train stations? Oh! Train stations were beautiful. Train stations were like built as like cathedrals to human ingenuity. And then we got to airports and we're like, fuck it. Let's make it look like a maintenance hallway of a mall in 1984. Like Terminator 2 is gonna start up anytime back here. Where's Edward Furlong? And the moment you get in there, the only things you can eat are Sbarro and Cinnabon. Sbarro, which is Italian for, don't put that in your mouth! And Cinnabon, the only food scientifically proven to smell 1,000 times better than it tastes. I know a lot of you are thinking, is he gonna do all this airplane material? Yeah, I am. It's gonna be 55 minutes of airport jokes, motherfuckers. So then I get into security line. I'm not kidding. I'm getting into security. And I immediately get weirdly paranoid in security. Like, immediately, I know what's in my bag. But I'm like, oh no, did I bring my gun that shoots drugs? Like, that's not a thing. I invented that, and now I'm scared about it. But here's the only way to go through security. It's so much fun. When you get to that thing that spins around and nobody knows what it does, but somebody's looking at you naked, when you get to that thing, instead of asking for a pat down, you just ask, I'd like the free body massage. They're not going to know what you're talking about right away. Leave some extra time, but don't say anything other than, I'd like the free body massage. Eventually, they'll lead you off to the pat down. That guy's first question to you is going to be, do you know how this works? And you just say, oh yeah! And then as you get pat down, just moan just a little bit. Only breathe out your nose. Did you find anything? If all of us do that once, that will disappear. Oh, I'm going to tell you guys a story. I'm going to tell you a story of one of the most humiliating moments of my life. I was in LA, and this was before I lived there, and my manager called me up, and he was like, hey, do you speak German? And I'm like, I realize I look like the IT guy from the Nazis, but no, I don't. And he's like, okay, and he hangs up, and then he calls me back, and he's like, do you speak in a German accent? I'm like a comedically bad one based on 1930s submarine movies. And he's like, I think I got an audition for you. I'm like, I'm sure I'm not perfect for it. And he's like, I don't know what this is for, but you're going to go in, they won't tell us what it's for, and you're going to go in and, improvise with a German accent. I was like, great. I go in with the casting director, I improvise with her in my shitty, terrible German accent, but, it's fun, we're having a good time. And at the end of it, she's like, do you speak German? And here's where I fuck myself. I'm like, oh, yeah, a little bit. And she's like, great, well, would you speak some German for me? And I know she doesn't speak German. So I just make up German-sounding sounds to her, and she thinks I'm speaking German to her. Quite well. And she's like, great, we're going to bring you back tomorrow. Do you know what this is for? I'm like, I do not. She's like, this is to be the assistant to Bruno in the new Sacha Baron Cohen film. And I don't know if you guys know who Sacha Baron Cohen is, but he did Borat and Ali G, and he is one of my comedic idols. Like, I really look up to the guy. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be like auditioning for Sacha Baron Cohen tomorrow. And as I'm leaving, she's like, hey, you know what? When you're in the room, just say you speak German. And I'm like, will do. And I go home that night and I'm like practicing my shitty German accent, like, what will we have for dinner? I don't know. It's awful. It's really bad. And I had never been in like a big Hollywood audition before. Never, ever. And so I have no idea what to expect. And I walk in the room and there's like 35 people there, including Jonah Hill for some reason. Like, what the fuck are you doing here, Jonah Hill? Are you in all of these rooms? Like, it's confusing. And then behind a giant wooden desk is Sacha Baron Cohen. And the director's first question for me when I sit down is, so, we understand you can speak fluent German. And I say, that's correct. And he says, great, well, we're just going to have you start out by speaking some German with Sasha. And I say, hey, I couldn't imagine a better way to begin. And Sacha Baron Cohen, my comedy idol, looks at me and speaks to me in German, which to me sounds like a series of whistles and clicks. And I just look him dead in the eye, and I'm just like, ein kleiner, wie heißen's Warten, auf Ortens warten, wie heißen Wiedersehen, auf Orten, the omelet. And then I make big old eye contact with a big shit-eating smile to everybody in the room. Just like, pretty good, huh? Now I know nobody else in the room speaks German, so they don't know what just happened, but Sasha looks at me like a dog who just heard a whistle. He's confused, as he should be. Because from his perspective, a man just came in for the biggest job interview of his life, and when asked, tell me about your experience, that man went, blah, 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 and then smiled like a crazy person at everyone in the room. And so Sasha asks me again another question in German, and I'm just like, 1, 2, 4, wir hatten Fiessen, wir hatten wie Lieder, das waren dafür, der Vater, der Vierte, Verhade, 14, ja. Again, big shit-eating grin around the room. Like the first one was pretty good, but that second one really knocked it out of the park. Sasha's still confused, so he kicks it over to his producer, who's straight up German. Now, I didn't know about this guy. But I think he tries to, like, softball me one, because I remember him, I think, saying the words Muzzle and Faza, which I think means mother and father. And I just looked him dead in the eye, and I was like, 9. Thinking in my head, the other ones have been about this long. I'll give him a short one. But you can't answer I think the question was probably, what are the names of your mother and father? And I just went, no. Moving on. So Sasha makes like the get him out of here sign to the director. Director's like, okay, great. Well, we have you on tape, which means get the fuck out. And I'm like, yes, sir. And the casting director, bless her heart, she's like, he's a really good improviser. And the director's like, okay, well, I guess we'll have you get up and improvise with Sasha. And I was like, in English? And he's like, in English. I'm like, okay. Now, I can improvise slightly better than I can speak fake German. But I'm still doing it in this terrible fake German accent. But still, like, it now starts to feel good. Like, there's some laughs in the room. It's feeling better. But from Sasha's perspective, I am wasting his time. And he doesn't like that. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to improvise with somebody who fucking hates you. But it is difficult. And so he's having me do all this demeaning shit. And then at a certain point, he takes off his glasses and he's like, cleans his glasses. And I was like, and I instinctually reached for them with my mouth. And he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I want to clean the glasses with the cleanest part of the body, which is the mouth. And he was just like, fuck you. But he gave them to me, and I licked them all the way around, into the crevices, all the way up and down. And he broke, and he was like, clean those off. And I was like, oh, yes, of course. And I ran, and I actually cleaned them off and gave them back him. But for that one fucking second, he didn't say clean them off as Bruno. He said it as Sasha. So Sasha Baron Cohen broke because he fucking hated me that much. You guys are such a great crowd. I feel bad that I have to freak you out now. Guys, because I want to tell the truth. I want to tell the truth. And here's 3 true facts about myself, Kurt Braunohler. 1, I breastfed until I was 5 years old. Deal with that guy in the back. Deal with that. That is true. That is, look at me, no, it's true. 5 years old. That's some Game of Thrones shit, motherfuckers. All right? Yeah, true. 5! Deal with it! I have a specific memory of breastfeeding and watching Phil Donahue and asking my mom to change the channel because I was bored. 5! I didn't know it was weird until I started telling people. But also, I'm 6'4" and I never get sick. fucking weirdos. Second fact. My best friend from ages 5 to 10 had Tourette's, and I had no idea. He moved away when I was 10 years old. My mom was like, did you know Michael had Tourette's? I was like, what's that? She's like, watch this video. And I was like, somebody should have told me. Because I just thought it was our fun way of chatting with each other. And I would mimic him back to himself all the time. I'd be like, yeah, no, we should. And then hit him and agree with him again. Because that's how he just proposed to me. Third fact, true fact. I started smoking when I was 10 years old. What up, Jersey? 10. 5 years after I stopped breastfeeding, I started smoking. And the entire time in between, I was pretending like I had Tourette's. That's how you make this. Those are the ingredients in this soup. I'm like slightly pregnant. Like my belly used to be private, but now it went public. And like this is its opening bell. It's just like, here I am. But I've always kind of had a belly, like my whole life. I've always had what I call a Todd bod. Which means that if you saw me naked, I would look exactly like a 6'4" toddler. Just no muscle definition, a round white belly, and I love to poop my pants. And so I've been trying to jog, but I don't want to jog in circles. So I like to run two places. Like if I need to run, I'll literally run an errand. I'll run there. And so the other day I was running to the dildo store. And I needed to buy a dildo for a sketch I was writing. So this is a comedy dildo, not a sex dildo, which means it's much larger, okay? And I was buying a double dong. You guys know what that is, right? It's got a bing bong on both sides. All right. Oh, interesting fact about a double-ended dildo is that the original purpose of a double-ended dildo was to give the appearance that you had just eaten a man with your butt, but you hadn't finished his dick yet. So I'm running to the dildo store, and I get this big double-ended dildo. It's purple, and I bring it up to the cash register, and I pay for it, and then I'm like, I have to run home with this thing. And I take it out of its packaging, and it's just really jimbly-jambly. Like, it's just got a lot of potential energy to it. And so I fold it in half and shove it in a black plastic bag, and then I start to run home with it. This has never happened before or since, but I completely ate it. Like I fell on my face, I fell down hard. And this is noon on a Tuesday in a West Village, a lot of people around. And when strangers see a big person fall, it's alarming. And then, when a double-ended dildo explodes out of a bag, everyone's like, like, help this man! Oh no, get away from this man! Everyone ignores me. That dildo works all its kinetic energy out on the sidewalk next to my head. And it's humiliating. Now, here's where the story gets weird. About 3 weeks after I decided to tell that story on stage, first time I'd ever told that story, I woke up one morning and I had recorded a voice memo for myself in my sleep of which I had no memory of. I had never done that before, but I woke up and I was like, what is this? And this is what it was.
For a double-ended dildo, it's all about saying I ate a whole man. I just let his dick stick out the back as a warning to other people.
I dreamed that. and then thought I should let Kurt know about this. That never had happened to me before. And then like a few weeks later, it actually happened again. And I woke up and I had left another voice memo in my sleep. I was like, oh my God, another gift from my unconscious. And this is what it was.
The most unbelievable thing about Ghostbusters is how much power the EPA has.
That's true. The EPA can't efficiently shut down businesses. And then it happened like 3 days later, and this is the last one.
I think the best way to never forget is to name your dog 9/11.
That's true, too. I'm going to name my next dog 9/11 after December 7th, 1941 dies. I'm the only one doing Pearl Harbor jokes, motherfucker. I know what a lot of you are thinking. Right now, you're thinking, look at, oh, funny man. Look at big funny man on the stage. Thinks he's big man on campus. Making fun of tragedy. Well, you know, guys, every night I go home and I remind myself that we're all gonna die. And then I'll eat a really sad snack. And I'll read tweets that I wrote that nobody liked. I got a sad snack here with me now. This is a hard-boiled egg in a shower cap from my hotel room that's been in my back pocket for 45 minutes. This is the saddest snack there is in the world. I just put some salt on my egg for those of you at home. These are tweets that nobody liked. Nobody replied to them, and no one retweeted them. Anybody want to hang out? Nothing. Zero traction on that. Just bought a laser printer. Printed out like 6 lasers so far. No. Nothing. I want to start a pinup calendar of prematurely born Caucasian babies and call it Creamy Preemies. But I don't want to leave out the mixed race babies. So we'll start one also called Early Swirlies. Just put a salt lick out for the deer. Salt lick is what I call my penis when it's covered in tears. Recently, I had a woman tell me that I was a quiet orgasmer. And I was like, I didn't even know that was something I could fail at. So, great. But it is very true. I am very quiet. I'm just like, you know, it's just the way God made me. I'm just like a little kitten sneeze, you know, just like, oh. And she was like, I would like to know when it happens. And the next time we had sex, I was like really in my head about it. And I was like, oh no, I have to make a noise. So I actually went, oh boy! Which is the exact sound that turns a vagina to sandpaper. But now I'm a little more mature. Now when I orgasm, I just go, oh, I'll have what me's having. Also, I am obsessed with misconnections on Craigslist. Like, obsessed with it. To the point where if I make passing eye contact with a woman on the street, I'll be like, ah! Like anything to marker it in her mind so she'll go home and write about it on misconnections. But no one ever has. Never. So what I've been doing is I've just been responding to misconnections I wish were about me. And I'd like to share a few with you now before I vomit from eating that egg. This one was entitled, Seen You on Brighton Beach with Your Unimorm. I think she meant uniform. And it said, hey, I'm looking for a friend. I think your name is Alex. I seen you a long time ago on Brighton Beach. You were wearing your unimorm. And then, later, I seen you somewhere else. Right back! So I did. I said, hey, it's me, Alex. That time long ago on Brighton Beach was so special. And then, again, it's somewhere else. Forget about it. I loved it. I've got a new unimorm. I'd love to show it to you. And she actually wrote back, how do I know it's you? And I just wrote, look under your bed. No response. This one was just titled Driving. And it said, we were flirting while driving on the Belt Parkway near Kennedy Airport. ... And then ... We were laughing ... Then you were gone. So I wrote back, flirting? I was having a stroke. I kept trying to signal you to call an ambulance, and you would just mimic me, then laugh. I was not laughing, I was screaming. I hit a telephone pole. Sorry I left so abruptly. Fuck you! And she wrote back, oh my God, who is this? You guys have been really great. This is my last thing. This is my last thing before I leave. And let you guys get back to whatever Valentine's Day thing you were doing. Just cupcakes and boning, whatever it is. But I've been writing all my stand-up on like giant poster-sized Post-it notes. They're like really big. And so when you walk into the first room of my apartment, it's just covered in my writing. And my friend Albertina came over the other day and she was like, hey, you can't bring a woman back here because you look like the Unabomber. And I was like, what are you talking about? These are all funny jokes. And she said, it just says here, do bad decisions exist, ? I was like, that's a funny joke. And she's like, no, that's a fucking crazy person thought. But this was her idea. She said, you know what would be funny if you wrote on the wall, list of people I need to kill, and then had like 8 names with the first one crossed off? I was like, that is funny. So I did that, and then I thought it would be even funnier if the last name just said random. So flash forward like 3 months, and I have finally convinced a young lady to come back to my apartment with me. And as I'm putting the key in the door, I remember that I have a list of people I need to kill on my wall that needs some explaining. She comes in, she sees it, she kind of freaks out a little bit. And I'm just like, no, this is a joke, I'm a comedian. I explain the whole thing. And she calms down. But I just can't help myself. And I slowly cross off random. And she left. She totally left. I called her a car, waited outside with her. I was like, you gotta admit, it's pretty funny. I committed to that bit. She didn't think so. Thank you so much, guys. Portland, you've been fantastic. Thank you. Good night.